Hey everyone, ready for some seriously unexpected burnout
I
hack?
know I am.
We're diving deep into an episode all about dodging that burnout bullet. And get this, it's packed with tips that go way beyond the usual take a break stuff.
Yeah, the stuff everyone's heard a million times.
Exactly. We're talking about uncovering some seriously effective and maybe even surprising strategies.
The kind that could totally change how you tackle your entrepreneurial journey, for the better.
Absolutely. Okay, so the episode kicks off with this story, right? The creators talk about how they suddenly hit a wall, like couldn't even answer emails.
Seemed like no big deal at first.
Right, you'd think, so what? Everyone gets behind on email. But it turns out this was a major wake-up call for this person.
Classic example, really. Like our bodies try to wave a giant red flag before our brains even catch on.
Hey, something's wrong here. But we just ignore it.
This creator was juggling a zillion projects, pulling all-nighters, and thought they were crushing it.
Superhuman, right.
But their body was screaming for a time out.
Which brings up this whole burnout radar idea. I love that.
Me too. Such a good way to think about it.
Instead of waiting for a total meltdown, what if we could pick up on those smaller signs way earlier?
Before things go off the rails.
Totally.
And honestly, a huge part of developing that burnout radar is just tuning into how you physically feel.
Makes sense.
Have you ever noticed, like, a headache that just won't quit, no matter how much ibuprofen you throw at it?
Ugh, yeah. Or that bone-deep tiredness even after 3 cups of coffee.
Bingo! That's burnout whispering in your ear, trying to get your attention.
So we're not just talking mental exhaustion here. It's the whole package. Mind and body working together or, not working together.
Exactly. Burnout hits us on every level, not just mentally.
Okay, so we got to be on the lookout for those early warning signs. But what can we actually do to prevent burnout in the first place? This episode dives into boundaries, but not how you might think.
Yeah, it's not the typical set a schedule and stick to it rigidly advice.
Which can feel kind of suffocating, honestly.
Totally. This is more about boundaries as freedom, actually.
Freedom. How does that work?
Imagine like a force field, right? Protecting your energy and focus. That's what good boundaries can do.
Force field. I like that.
It gives you space to operate at your best.
But I'll be honest, the whole boundaries thing, it can feel like a dirty word for entrepreneurs.
I hear you. Like, we're supposed to push limits, go the extra mile, all the time.
Hustle, hustle, hustle.
But here's the catch. Saying yes to everything, spreading ourselves thin, it actually limits our freedom in the long run. We end up burnt out and unable to do anything well.
So it's not about never working late or always saying no.
Nope. It's being intentional. Knowing when to push, when to pull back. Having that flexibility is key.
So you could choose to work late on something you're super passionate about because you genuinely want to, not because you feel obligated.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean you have to be glued to your inbox 24/7 just because the notifications keep dinging.
You get to choose.
It's about making conscious choices, not just reacting to whatever demands come flying at you. Which, let's face it, for entrepreneurs, there are a lot.
Okay, so we're building our burnout radar, we're putting up our force field of boundaries,
Yeah.
and now the episode takes us to rest.
Ooh, my favorite topic.
But trust me, this isn't just the same old get 8 hours of sleep advice. We all know that one.
Yeah, and who actually does that
Yeah.
consistently?
Especially entrepreneurs.
But this episode gets into the science behind rest, explaining why even short breaks can make a huge difference to how our brains work.
So most entrepreneurs, we don't have those nice, neat 9-to-5 schedules. But what if there was a way to recharge, even on the craziest days?
There is. The episode talks about the power of the 15-minute nap.
Seriously.
Seriously, even a quick nap can boost your alertness, focus, creativity, all that good stuff.
So those power naps I sneak in between meetings, those are actually a good thing.
You bet they are. There's a reason some of history's most brilliant minds were big fans of napping. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, they knew even a little rest can unlock major potential.
Okay, I'm officially on board with the power nap movement. But what about longer breaks, like vacations?
Even better.
I'm terrible at those. I always end up turning my vacation into another work session.
It's that always-on mentality. It's a trap.
It really is.
We have to remind ourselves, disconnecting and recharging, it's not a luxury. It's essential for lasting success.
So we've got recognizing burnout, setting up boundaries, taking those well-deserved naps.
Yeah.
What's the missing piece here?
The episode talks about this too. It's building a support system that truly gets what it's like to be an entrepreneur.
Not just people who are like, oh, that's rough, you should take a break.
Right, it's got to be deeper than that. People who understand the unique challenges we face, who can offer solid advice, encouragement, and a dose of reality when we need it.
This episode had a great way of putting it. It's like having a safety net made of silk.
I love that analogy. It's strong enough to catch you if you fall.
But it's also delicate. You still feel like you're soaring.
Exactly. That's what a good support system can do.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Burnout is a real threat, but it's not inevitable.
Nope.
With the right strategies in place, you can protect your energy, focus,
Yeah.
heck, even your passion for what you do.
And that's just the beginning.
Right.
In the next part of our deep dive, we're going even deeper, looking at specific mindset hacks, strategies for building resilience.
Especially when those entrepreneurial challenges inevitably come knocking.
Because they will.
Stay tuned. It's going to get really interesting.
I can't wait. Welcome back. Ready to keep digging into burnout prevention.
Absolutely. Last time we talked about spotting those early warning signs, setting up those force field boundaries, remembering to rest, and building that awesome support system.
All super important stuff.
But now we're going even deeper. We're talking about the mental game.
It's all about mindset, really.
Yeah. Because let's be real, being an entrepreneur, it's like an emotional roller coaster. You've got those incredible highs when you close a big deal or you launch that amazing product.
The adrenaline rush is real.
But then you've also got those lows, setbacks, rejections, those moments where you're like, wait, am I even cut out for this whole entrepreneur thing?
Yeah, the self-doubt monster can rear its ugly head.
Tell me about it. And that's exactly where having the right mindset can make all the difference. So what does this episode suggest for navigating that roller coaster?
Well, one of the first things it talks about is reframing challenges, seeing them as opportunities for growth.
Okay, I've heard that before. But how do you actually do that? Like when you're staring at a failed launch or a deal that just blew up in your face.
It's about shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing those setbacks as like the end of the world, we can choose to see them as valuable lessons. Like each challenge is a chance to learn, grow, and become a better entrepreneur.
So instead of saying, ugh, I'm terrible at this, you're saying, okay, I'm not great at this yet, but I'm learning.
Exactly. It's about embracing that growth mindset, which this episode really emphasizes.
Makes sense.
It's believing that you can always develop your skills and abilities through effort, through learning, through persistence. It's not about some entrepreneur gene you're born with.
I like that. It's not about being perfect right out of the gate. It's about embracing those challenges and constantly pushing yourself to learn and grow.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Another mental strategy they talk about is gratitude, which might sound a little,
Cheesy.
yeah, kind of like we hear it all the time. But the episode really digs into the science behind gratitude. It's not just about feeling good. It can actually reduce stress, help you sleep better, and just boost your overall well-being.
Which, as entrepreneurs, we could all use a little more of.
Right. And for people who are always striving for more, taking a moment to appreciate what you already have can be incredibly grounding.
So it's like taking a pause in all the craziness and saying, hey, I've actually accomplished a lot. I'm grateful for where I am right now. Even if things aren't perfect, there's always something to be thankful for.
Exactly. And the episode suggests keeping a gratitude journal, specifically for business wins, no matter how small. It could be something like, what challenge am I grateful for overcoming today? Or what opportunity am I excited about exploring?
That's a cool idea. It's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget to celebrate those small wins.
It happens to the best of us. But even acknowledging the challenges we've overcome, that can be a form of gratitude, too. It's like saying, hey, I made it through that rough patch, and I'm stronger because of it.
I like that. So we're reframing challenges. We're rocking that growth mindset. We're practicing gratitude. What other mental tools does this episode give us?
One that stood out to me is managing expectations, both our own and those of the people around us.
Ooh, yeah, expectations can be a killer, especially in the age of social media, where everyone's always showing their highlight reel. It's so easy to compare yourself and feel like you're not doing enough.
I know. In this episode, it really stresses the importance of setting realistic goals, being honest with yourself about your limits, because the truth is, success is not a straight line. There are going to be detours, roadblocks, maybe even a U-turn or two.
So it's not about trying to be perfect or be like someone else. It's about focusing on your own journey and celebrating your own progress.
Exactly. And sometimes managing expectations means saying no to opportunities that just don't align with your goals or values. Remember those boundaries we talked about?
Ah, yes, our trusty force field. It all comes back to protecting our time and energy so we can
Yeah.
focus on what truly matters.
Exactly. And that goes for managing other people's expectations too. Whether it's clients, investors, even family and friends, it's important to be clear about our boundaries and what we need.
So it's about setting those expectations up front and not being afraid to push back when someone tries to step over those lines.
You got it. And sometimes that means having those tough conversations, letting people know when their expectations are just not realistic or sustainable. It's about putting your well-being first, setting those healthy boundaries in all areas of your life.
Okay, so we're reframing challenges, we're cultivating that growth mindset, we're practicing gratitude, and we're managing expectations like pros.
Mm.
That's a lot of mental tools to help entrepreneurs stay resilient and avoid burnout.
And these tools, they're not just for entrepreneurs. Anyone can benefit from them, really, especially in today's crazy busy world.
It's true. And I think it's important to remember that burnout, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself too hard, that you're neglecting your own needs.
It's like a signal from your body and mind saying, hey, we need a break.
Exactly. But the good news is, with the right strategies in place, you can absolutely prevent burnout and create a path to success that's more sustainable and, actually enjoyable.
Because what's the point of success if you're completely burnt out along the way?
Right. Okay. So
Mhm.
we've got the tools, the strategies, the mindset. But how do we actually put all of this into practice in our real, messy, everyday lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we'll be tackling in the final part of our deep dive.
Ooh, can't wait.
We'll be looking at specific tips, actionable steps you can take today to start incorporating these burnout prevention techniques into your routine, making them a habit.
Stay tuned because things are about to get real. All right, welcome back for the final part of our Burnout Deep Dive.
The grand finale.
We've covered so much ground already, it's amazing.
From spotting those sneaky burnout signs,
To reframing challenges and building that awesome growth mindset.
we even talked about gratitude journals and taming those wild expectations. So much good stuff.
But now it's time to get down to business, right? How do we actually put all this amazing advice into practice?
Right. It's one thing to understand it all, but actually doing it, that's the real challenge.
It is. I mean, we're all busy entrepreneurs here. How do we make this stuff stick?
Well, the episode we've been talking about, it doesn't just stop at theory.
Thank goodness.
It actually gives you really practical tips for turning these concepts into, actionable steps, stuff you can actually do.
Love that.
And the key is, it's all about making small, sustainable changes, not some huge life overhaul.
Yeah, because let's be real, we're already juggling about a million things.
Mhm.
Adding a massive life makeover on top of that. Recipe for disaster.
And probably more burnout.
Exactly.
So the episode suggests start with micro goals.
Micro goals.
Yeah, like instead of setting this huge, overwhelming goal, break it down. Smaller, manageable steps.
Makes sense.
It's like climbing a mountain, right? You don't just magically teleport to the summit.
Unless you're like a superhero.
Right. You got to take it one step at a time and enjoy those little wins along the way.
Celebrate the small stuff.
Exactly. And you can apply that same approach to all the burnout strategies we talked about.
Okay, I'm following you.
So let's say we're talking about boundaries. Maybe you start by just setting aside 1 hour each day where you're completely unplugged, no work allowed.
Ah, a sacred hour.
No emails, no calls, no Slack, nada. Just you doing whatever you want.
Bliss. Or how about rest?
Ooh, yes. Maybe you commit to taking, say, 3 15-minute power naps every week. Remember, those can do wonders.
I do. I'm a believer now.
And when it comes to mindset, maybe you start each day by jotting down 3 things you're grateful for in your business. Simple, but powerful.
It's like priming your brain for positivity. I love it.
Right. The episode also talks about this cool idea, creating rituals and routines that support your well-being.
Ooh, like morning routines. I've heard those can be game changers.
Exactly. A lot of successful entrepreneurs, they swear by morning routines helps them get in the right headspace.
Doesn't have to be anything crazy either.
Nope. Could be as simple as meditating for 5 minutes, taking a walk, listening to a podcast, whatever works for you.
The key is consistency, right?
Yeah.
Making it a habit.
You got it. And it's not just about mornings either. You can build in little rituals throughout the day to help you stay grounded and energized.
So many good ideas.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
Well, one that really resonated with me was surrounding yourself with positive influences.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Back to that awesome support system. But it goes beyond that too, doesn't it?
It does. Think about the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, even the social media accounts you follow.
It's curating your whole environment, really. Making it a place that supports you, lifts you up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because honestly, negativity is contagious.
It really is.
If you're constantly bombarded with negativity, it drains your energy, makes it so much harder to stay positive and motivated.
It's like trying to grow a plant in a dark closet.
Exactly. It's just not going to thrive. But on the flip side, positivity is contagious too.
I love that.
When you surround yourself with positive influences, it can totally shift your mindset.
It's like giving that plant all the sunshine and water it needs.
Exactly. It's going to flourish. So choose your influences wisely. Surround yourself with people, resources, and content that uplift you, inspire you, and support your growth.
So much wisdom here. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to remember that preventing burnout, it's a journey, not a destination.
So true. It's not a one-and-done thing.
There will be times when we fall off track, get overwhelmed, feel like we're back at square one.
It happens. We're all human.
The key is to be kind to ourselves, learn from those experiences, and keep moving forward.
It's about progress, not perfection.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so, as we close out this episode, we leave you with this question. What's one small step you can take today to better protect your energy, your focus, and your passion?
It can be anything, just one small step in the right direction.
Because remember, building an empire starts with taking care of yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Until next time, stay energized and keep chasing those dreams.
See you then.